What's going on, YouTube? It's your girl Vanity here, and I hope you guys are having an exhilarating, amazing Sunday. Excuse me, I'm dressed and I'm ready to go out to dinner. Today is my last full day in the Cayman Islands, so I have a little bit of time before I go to dinner. So I wanted to come and talk to you guys about Love and Marriage Huntsville, last night's episode. What do y'all think? How would you guys rate this episode? What are you thinking about the season? Before we get into that, can you please take a moment, support your girl, like and subscribe to the channel. Please, please, please. You know, I'm growing my channel. I am so appreciative of all of you. I love you all. I love the dialogue that we have under all of my different YouTube videos. I love talking to you guys, engaging, conversing with all of you. So again, I appreciate the love and the support. So don't forget to like and subscribe. All right, so let's get into last night's episode of Love and Marriage Huntsville. What would you guys rate the episode from 1 to 10? If I was to give the episode a rating from 1 to 10, I think I'd give it an 8. I would give it an 8, and I'm gonna tell you why. One, I do love and hate, love, hate Tiffany, right? Tiffany is definitely bringing it this season. In past seasons, she's really annoyed me. I don't know what it has been about Tiffany that's bothered me so much. I think she's kind of annoyed me for, a little bit of what she's doing now, right? Like she's inserting herself in stuff that she don't got nothing to do with. But this season, I kind of appreciate it because some of the things she's inserting herself in this season, I agree with it. I agree with her getting at Kiki, Tisha's cousin. I love how she confronted her and said, hey, like, I'm not feeling you. I don't trust you because of what you did to Letitia. I know you do it to me if you would do that to Letitia. And although I think that the way in which she went about it with Sheree probably wasn't the best, I do appreciate her asking some of the hard-hitting questions because those are the things that we want to know. In previous seasons, specifically with Monster, I did not like how Tiffany did that. I don't think that it was appropriate. And so maybe I think she just came out the gate and rubbed us all the wrong way. But this season, I do love how Tiffany is kind of keeping the season afloat. I think that she is the power hitter, the power player this season. And so I do like that about Tiffany, although her couth is non-existent, right? Like Tiffany is not have like the couth, she doesn't, it's like no holds barred. She just goes in, says what she wants. She don't care who she's saying it to. I wonder if Tiffany has gotten hands laid on her in her former life, because if this is how she has conducted herself like in school, I'm sure she has run into some people who wasn't feeling that. So that's another subject for another day. But yeah, so I like that. We get into the continuation of Tiffany. And then I also like my boo, my soror, Kimmi. I love how she, gets very personal with us and lets us in on some of the things that she's going through, with feeling beautiful, with feeling sexy, and, different things that she's going through in the bedroom with Maurice. So I like that she got candid about that, but we'll get to that in a minute. So the episode starts out, we have kind of like the continuation from the last episode where, Maurice and Martell like confront Tiffany about like, girl, what are you doing? Why did you come to Sheree, the way that you did? And so we see Marsau, he's at the house with Tisha. Tisha, first, before they get into that, Tisha and him, they're moving. Finally, they've been, building this home, their dream home. But they're moving to an apartment, I believe, while the house is still getting fixed. So it's like you're moving to move, and moving is so stressful. So God bless them for that. But they talk about that, and then, Marsau just says to Tisha, like, your girl, Tiffany, is off the chain. And so, she's kind of like, oh God, what does she do now? He tells her, like, some of the stuff that she was saying. He brought up the fact that she went right up to Sheree and said, well, how do you feel about dating a cheater? He filled her in on that. And then he also filled her in on the infamous, do you think your P-U-S, we know the rest of the letters, do you think that will keep Martell with you? And so Tisha's kind of like, what? She did not say the actual P-U-S word. And he's like, yes, she did. And she's like, that, because let's be honest, y'all, it is kind of nuts that she did that. I mean, not that you have to say vagina or whatever, but like it's kind of crazy that Tiffany came at Sheree like that. Like, not knowing her, I would have been like, really, girl? Like, who? It's crazy. And I think I admire Sheree because she handled herself very well. She did not act a fool. She kind of let it roll off her shoulder, which everybody should kind of take note. And Sheree's pretty cool. Like, she can get activated, but she usually keeps her cool. And again, Tiffany, I think Tiffany's get out of jail free card this season is the fact that she's definitely 9 months pregnant. So it's like, how much can you really get at Tiffany with her? It's like don't get me wrong, Tiffany was reckless before she was pregnant, but she really is like amping it up this season. And you gotta kind of let her get away with it, because you don't want to be the person that brings the blood pressure up of the 9 month pregnant woman. So Tiffany's definitely taking advantage of that. But yeah, so Tisha's they're all just kind of like gasping, like, I cannot believe it. Let me ask y'all this though. Is it me? Or does it seem like Marsau is like really taking this too far? Like, he almost seems more upset now than Martell, which is bizarre. Because I could definitely see why Martell is upset. Like, I would be upset too. But I feel like Marsau is the one that's like really pushing the envelope on this. And granted, if I knew or was, informed or made aware that Tiffany said this, I would have the same reaction too. Like, damn, that's crazy. But it wouldn't like bother me so much, especially because they know Tiffany's messy. But it seems like Marsau is so bothered by this, and I don't really understand why he's so bothered. And I'm wondering is because like a hit dog will holler. So I'm wondering if like Martell is really upset because he's had indiscretions and he also falls in the cheater category. Could that be what it is? Because why are you taking this to heart like this, Marsau? Like, you are really going hard about this situation with Tiffany. And I know, you have to make the good TV and all that, but I just feel like Marsau is being very, very extra as it pertains to what Tiffany said to Sheree. So anyway, they kind of finished up the conversation or whatever. And I'm going to kind of jump around and kind of get to the parts that I thought, were really, really good parts. So I would like to talk about Kimmi, and she has a conversation with Maurice, and they're in the car, and they talk about, their sex life. And she's kind of saying, she's expressing like, well, haven't felt beautiful. She's talking about like, which is really sad, for the chemo and the radiation, the side effects is like her eyebrows have, like, all of her body hair is falling out. So she's just like, I don't really feel pretty. And she tells, Maurice, another side effect of that is that my libido is low. I have not been in the mood. And so, he's like, oh, okay. And she was just basically saying like, every time that, we have done, whatever we've done, I have done that because you're my husband and I feel it's my duty, but I don't want you to, basically she doesn't want to make him feel left out because he's already expressed in the past that he wants more. And so I can understand where she feels kind of like she's between a rock and a hard place of like, okay, he already wants more and I'm sick, but and I definitely don't feel like doing it significantly less than I did when I felt normal. But she feels as though she has to try to satisfy him as much as she can. And it's just sad. It's like a sad conversation because, and this is why we love Kimmi, right? Because not only is Kimmi so logical and so fair and so objective in the way that she thinks, and that is what I love the most about her, besides the fact she's just really likable and dope and fun and all of those things that you would want in a friend. But she cares about people, and it made me teary-eyed, and it made me say, well done, Kimmi, because not only are you going through a cancer recovery journey of your own, but you want to make your husband happy, and that's something that you want in a significant other. And so that was really endearing, and really, really, it made me sad, but it made me happy to see at the same time that even though she's going through what she's going through, she still has Maurice at the forefront of, what he needs, his wants. You always see her in episodes saying, okay, well, I got to cook for you, got to clean for you, got to do this. And, Maurice wants her to slow down, but she still wants to help, and take care of her duties as a wife, and help to, take care of his son, take care of the household, all the while she needs someone to take care of her. So, and then Maurice, which I was very, very proud of him, he was like, well, I don't want you to do that. Like, the most important thing is your health. Like, I don't want you to feel like you have to do that. So, kudos to you, Maurice, for saying that. And then the funny part, like, Kimmi starts telling him that she kind of fakes it in the bed, and he's like, for real? And so she's like, yeah, like, I, give you a couple oohs and ahs and moans here and there, just, you don't know the difference. Just, I'm on to make sure that you good. And he's kind of like, which is so funny because, men, let's just be real. Let's take like a minute or two. Hey, men, I have something to tell you. I feel like this could be a whole separate video, but Kimmi's not the only one. And I'm not saying that women, we don't enjoy it, but the statistics on men climaxing versus women is like, I don't know if the statistics are like only 15 to 20% of women can climax. I say all that to say, this is not out of the realm of like normalcy. Like, this is a thing, guys. So, but Kimmi's sick, you know what I'm saying? So she's sick, so she has even more reason. But I just want the fellas to know that, like, your wife and your girlfriend's probably faking on you too. I'm just saying, at least sometimes. Not, and that's not saying that it's not enjoyable. Women, we love it. We're not saying that. But we are saying that it's different for men and women. And a lot of times, women aren't able to get their happy ending the way that men are. And we'll keep it PG, and I'll keep it at that. But Kimmi expresses that to him. And so, Maurice is kind of like, well, I don't want you to get into the habit of faking it. So, and then she's like, what you want me to do, bruh? Like, I'm trying to like satisfy you. And, I don't want to do it. So look, do you want this or not? So, that was it was funny because it was a cute conversation. It was like a real conversation. And I just love Kimmi. And I really appreciate, Kimmi for, letting us in on that part of her life. And then Kimmi, she goes to dinner with one of her friends. And she's kind of like telling, her friend the same thing. Like, look, like, I didn't know that, a side effect of chemo and radiation was that your libido was low. And so her friend was kind of like, damn, I didn't know that either. And so she's just kind of telling her friend also, like, reiterating some of the things that she expressed to Maurice on how she's feeling. So I think I love every part of Kimmi's, cancer journey. From when she told us that she, found the lump, to her actually finding out she had cancer, to her cutting off her hair. Like, I feel like she's been so transparent, and I just love Kimmi for sharing that. And these are the things that I like to see in the show. I don't always, it's fun to see the fun shade and stuff like that, but for me, the best parts of the show are these raw, emotional, different type of expressions on what they're going through. And I just, because cancer hits every aspect of everybody's life. We all know someone who, if we haven't been affected, we have a family member, or we have friends that have family members. Specifically, I feel like breast cancer hits Black women hard. So for me, when I hear women sharing their stories about having fibroids and, breast cancer and, different heart conditions and things that really are hard hitting for Black women, I'm very appreciative of that. So thank you, Kimmi, for sharing that with us. So we get to the baby shower, And everybody's starting to come or whatever, and then we just gonna skip right to, we get to the table. We have Miss Nell, we have Stormy, we have Kimmi, Letitia, and Melody's there. And so they kind of start trying to talk about, they're trying to bring up Sheree, and they're trying to say, okay, well, Sheree was there, and then they're like, Tiffany said this and Tiffany said that, and then I think it was Tisha that was like, but man, we don't want to make you uncomfortable. Is this making you uncomfortable talking about this? And Melody was like, I ain't uncomfortable. And so then they talk about the fact that Tiffany bust up at Sheree at Martell's magazine reveal or whatever it was, saying, hey, how do you feel dating a cheater? And so immediately Melody, because Melody will escape conflict, boy. Melody gets up, it's like, I gotta go get my plate, y'all. I'll be back. So it's funny, like, I don't know if Melody was thinking like, I'm gonna get my plate, I'm gonna come back and they're not gonna be talking about this anymore. No. She sat down with her plate of food, excuse me, and they reconvened. So yeah, so what had happened was, and then they, let her know. So basically, are you a fan of Sheree's? Because, Sheree said, or Stormy says, Sheree told Tiffany that you asked for, her autograph at a book signing. And, Miss Nell got in on it, and they're all kind of like asking her. What I didn't like about this conversation was, and it's unfortunate because I don't think that when Sheree said that to Tiffany, I don't think she was being messy. I personally don't think she was being messy. I think she was just like, I met her once. I had a book signing, and she came and asked me for my autograph, which is fine. It's not even that big of a deal. What I think Sheree should have done, I would have been like, but this was before I met Martell. You know what I mean? Because the way that it was presented and taken was that this happened like after all of this was exposed about her dating Martell. That's the way it kind of came across when Sheree told Tiffany this. It was never clarified like the timeline. So I think that is what Sheree should have actually did. But I don't think the way that Sheree said it is, I don't think that she was making it like, Melody was her fan. I think Tiffany's messy, and that is the way she took it back. And I think that she was causing mess, as she always does. But even if Melody was a fan, so like Sheree, we're not gonna act like she's not an iconic person in reality TV history. Like, if I saw Sheree out, I might ask her, autograph this, or put you whatever. If I had a book, autograph. I mean, if I'm at a book signing, or if I specifically go to a book signing, it's nothing wrong with her admiring Sheree. Like, it would have been weird had she done that post Martell, but if she had done that, who cares? Like, Sheree has been on reality TV since like 2008. So I don't think there was anything wrong with it, and I think that they are blowing this way out of proportion. It didn't even need to come to this. It was just a way to like shade Melody. So Melody basically explains like, no, there was an event. Sheree had a booth. I spoke at the event, and I had a speaking engagement at the event. And then, that's when I went over whatever and talked to her. It's not that deep. So, and she did say it was years ago. So this was before Martell was in the picture, which I already knew that, because the way that Melody's pride is set up, there's no way Melody was going up to Sheree after Sheree was dating Martell to ask her for an autograph. We know damn Melody was not doing that. So really, this is a moot point. Like, there was really no reason to even like make this a thing, because I knew when, it wasn't clarified the timeline, but I knew Melody hadn't gone up to Sheree dating Martell and asked her for no autograph. So that is actually just annoying. It's just, I hate, again, it's shady, but I just hate stuff like this, because it's like, girl, you're trying to make fetch happen, and it's not even supposed to be that. So anyway, Martell and Maurice come, which is interesting because, people were kind of asking Tisha, where's not Maurice, I'm sorry, Maurice was already there. Martell and Marsau. When they first got to the baby shower, everyone was asking Tisha, oh, where's Marsau? And Tisha was like, well, he's not really feeling Tiffany right now, so I don't think he's gonna come. But of course, Martell and Marsau come together, and as soon as they get there, Melody sees Martell, and she's like, that's my cue. She gets up and gets the hell up out of there, which I don't blame her, because I want to say when they were filming this, I don't know if y'all remember, but Martell and Melody, it had got really ugly on social media with them a few months. So I can deduce that this probably was in the midst of that. And so I don't blame her. I'd be like, look, this dude right here is off the hook. I'm not going to be in the same room with him. So she got up and left. So they come, and immediately they kind of, motion for Big Lou to come outside. I am not a fan of Big Lou. I'm just not a fan of him. I don't know what it is about him. It's something that's not really genuine. I don't know what it is about Big Lou. Like, Tiffany, I've kind of, I don't even want to say I've learned to like her, but I've gotten used to Tiffany. It's like I accept her. But Big Lou, I don't see it for him. I don't know why. But anyway, so Martell and Marsau, they take Big Lou outside to chit chat about, them, confronting Tiffany. And so, just to make a long story short, because this scene didn't really give me what I wanted it, because I feel like Big Lou should have been like, look, I don't care what y'all say. Don't say nothing to my wife. If you have an issue with my wife, come to me. I don't care if she's wrong or right. And he didn't really do that. I feel like he was dilly-dallying too much and like, do you guys think she's wrong? What would you do? No, like, my wife is 9 months pregnant. Don't say nothing to her. And he didn't do that. It was like too much conversing back and forth about the point. And it's like, yes, he should have just said she's wrong as hell. And he kind of finally said that at the end. But yeah, I mean, bottom line is he was just basically, they started to get loud, and he was asking like, Marsau, like, also, what do you have to do with it? Which is what we all want to know. Like, again, we like the commentary, Marsau, because you are hilarious, but at the end of the day, you are way too invested in this. You really have nothing to do with it. And he was kind of asking Marsau, do you think you're wrong? And then he says, well, they're kind of going back and forth, and he asked her like, and then you call her Karen, and then he said, then you asked her like, what the are you thinking? What the F were you thinking? And then, Marsau gives him his explanation of what a Karen is, because of course Tiffany said it, well, when he first told me I'm being a Karen, I thought it was because I'm mixed. And so Marsau says, no, that is not what it is. And he was like, I said this because A, B, and C or whatever, because of, the way she inserted herself into this, which Marsau, you did the same thing. So you're dead. If she's a Karen, you're a Ken. I'm just saying. But, and then, so basically Big Lou was like, well, I don't care. Like, if that's how you want to do it, then I'm going to do the same thing. I'm going to just, next time there's an issue, I'm going to go to Tisha. And Marsau's like, no, you're not. And he was like, well, why not? This is what you're doing. And so then, he kind of is going back and forth. It's getting loud. Then Maurice comes outside. And I think that Maurice, I don't blame you for coming outside, because you wanted to see, like, let me make sure they don't start tussling. But I feel like you should just stood. It was just too many people. It was like 3-on-1. It was just too many people involved. Maurice, you should have just came out and made sure nobody's got to throwing blows. And so Maurice gave his input on why he thought Tiffany was dead wrong. And so then, he asked, Big Lou asked Martell, like, do you think you were in the right? Martell was like, yeah. And he was like, so you think it's right for you to say something to my wife? You need to come to me. And then Martell was like, well, I don't need to come to you. And so then I did see, Big Lou, you was getting a little handsy. Like, Martell was keeping his distance, and you kind of like touched the shoulder. And then if it's conflict, don't touch me. Because then, Martell was kind of like, look, back up. And then Big Lou was like, don't do that. And whatever, y'all. It just, at the end of the day, they decided, okay, look, next time, if there's an issue, we will come to you directly, which I agree with it. I mean, again, I don't necessarily have an issue with Martell going directly to Tiffany and saying, hey, what was up with that? Like, why did you do that? But I think that we need to give Tiffany grace, because she is 9 months pregnant. So put the show aside. We don't want to put Tiffany in any type of stressful situation. We need to make sure that she's healthy and that she has a healthy pregnancy and a safe delivery. And I think that's what's most important. But I definitely don't agree with how it was like a tag team with Marsau and Martell. And that was, I think, what was most problematic. I don't necessarily have an issue with Martell asking, because Martell really wasn't disrespectful to Tiffany. He was respectful to her with how he asked. But I think it was like, you know, someone could be amping up the situation, which is what Marsau did. And I think it took a wrong turn when the both of them did, you know, kind of spoke to her. So that's what that is. So then we go inside the house. So the guys kind of get things together and they decide, okay, how they're going to handle things moving forward. Go in the house, and this, you know, towards the end of the episode, and Tiffany is not feeling well. She said that the lights were like hurting her eyes. You know, I don't know if her heart rate was going up, but she didn't feel good. She's 9 months pregnant, and it was a situation where, I would have called 911, and they were kind of like debating, okay, she's not feeling good, she has to sit down, she's kind of feeling sick, and now her eyes, the lights are hurting her. That's not a good sign. They were debating, like, should we call 911, should we not, you know, whatever. And then she's like, I need my husband. And then they go get Big Lou, and he comes to kind of comfort her. They turn the lights low and all of that, and this episode kind of goes off like that with us. You know, we're wondering, okay, is Tiffany okay? Did they call 911? And I guess we'll find out the next episode. So I thought the episode was pretty good. I give it an 8, but I enjoyed Kimmi the most. I liked hearing about what she's going through, and I think I want to see more of that. I hope, and I think they're doing a good job of showing us like each step in the process of her healing in her cancer journey. So I definitely enjoyed that. And yeah, Maurice, or excuse me, it's too many damn M's, y'all. Marsau, chill out, okay? Because you really don't have nothing to do with the situation. You are way too invested in it, so I just need you to relax. So anyway, that's all I got for y'all. I hope you enjoyed my review. Like I said, don't forget to like and subscribe. And I'm going to go and have dinner and enjoy my last night in the Cayman Islands. So I hope you guys have a great evening as well. And I'll see you next time. Bye-bye.